Hey everyone, this is Julia Kupman and I'm here with Nathan Chandra.
Hello, Julia. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Nathan runs a company called Buttrfly, which is basically a network for influencers on the blockchain.
That is correct.
Nathan, can you tell me a little bit about what an influencer network is and why it's related to the blockchain?
So what Buttrfly does is we match brands with influencers and help brands or agencies scale their influencer messaging campaigns. So currently right now, without the blockchain, there are influencer networks. And the way it works is a brand will come in, they pay it like a SaaS model, and they'll type in a demographic that they want to hit, and the system will serve them up influencers and say, these are the influencers that you should work with.
Okay.
And then it says, good luck.
Interesting.
So then the brand or the agency has to figure out how to contact influencers. So call them, DM them, their agent, their manager, their momager, who knows. And then once they contact them, they have to build a rapport. Then they have to tell them what they need. Then they have to contract with them. Then they have to verify the post if they're going to post something. And then they have to do all the invoicing and all the payments, which is a complex workflow problem.
So let me get this straight. The traditional advertising model has completely changed, right, with social media. You have all these influencers popping up.
Correct.
And now you have whole teams working to contact these influencers.
Correct. So think of a brand wants 3,000 influencers to post about something all at once.
Okay.
You have a whole floor of people that are calling and contracting.
So it's like sales.
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay.
Right.
So, and what makes someone an influencer? Is there a certain amount of
It could
followers?
be, well, we consider anybody that has 500 followers plus.
500 followers plus.
Yeah, so there's
influencer.
micro to macro. It's micro to macro.
Oh, there's
mid-tier.
different tiers of
Yeah,
influencers.
yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about micro is 500 plus. What would be a macro influencer?
I mean, some people, 180. Kim Kardashian.
There's like millions.
180 million. Yeah.
180 million.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's someone in the 100,000?
In the mid-range, there's a slew of them. They're actually
Okay.
more in that range than other people, and those are some of our clients, right?
Okay.
So it's really difficult for a brand to figure out who to contact that only has 50,000 followers.
I see.
But sometimes a person with 50,000 followers or less has higher engagement.
Has the right followers.
Yeah, the right followers.
Okay.
So we have a database of 311 million Instagram profiles, and they're all virally mapped for brand relationship data. So
Oh,
people's
interesting.
followers and their followers' followers. So we can go into the stacks of followers and understand all this interesting data that brands
Huh.
are just so excited about.
Okay, right.
So what our system does is a brand will come in, and it's similar to Trade Desk. They'll say, hey, I've got $200,000 that I need to spend, and they put it into our system.
Okay,
And-
in your system.
Yes.
How do they put it in?
Fiat, they put the money
Okay.
in, right?
But do they put in like a request?
No, they just,
They put in $200,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and then what'll happen is now it's sitting in their account,
Okay.
and they'll say, we want to hit this demographic of people, and our system will serve them up the best influencers that they should be working with.
So they want to, let's say, target 18 to 35, males.
Yeah.
For their new shoes.
Sure.
Okay.
In Los Angeles.
Okay.
So then our system will serve them up the best influencers to work with that have, and we analyze all their followers and figure out why they should be working with these influencers. And then we assign a value to each influencer's post.
Oh,
So we
interesting.
can understand everything the influencer's done in the past, all the people that follow them, all the brands they like, and then we can predict how much engagement they're going to get in the future.
Oh, interesting.
And so then we assign a value to each person's post, and if the brand wants to do the campaign, and they say go, and then what will happen is the influencer will log into our app. It's called Buttrfly, and an opportunity will pop up and says, "Hey, do you want to post this about Nike on July 31st? You're going to make $250." And they go, "Yes." They swipe, kind of like
Oh.
Tinder. So it's like swiping and making money.
Interesting.
And then it'll sit in an automatic send, and then what will occur is on that date, the post will go out on
Oh,
Instagram.
they don't even have to do anything.
No, it's all automated.
Wow.
So it's a way for an influencer to actually start monetizing their followers
Right.
more productively.
Right.
Meaning that if an influencer doesn't post something on Tuesday, they didn't make any money on Tuesday. That was if it was an influencer campaign, right? So then we're helping influencers schedule out their future monies.
And then yep. And
Because
it's
they can
almost like
schedule
passive
out
income.
6 months
yeah.
in the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they work hard. I mean, people that have 25,000 followers, they work hard to get their 25,000
They
followers.
do.
They just don't know how to make money on it. Well, where is there an app that lets you easily make money?
Right.
And that's Buttrfly. So you swipe and make money, and then you can go eat, which
Okay.
helps you with the necessities of life.
Pay for your partner.
All
So
that.
I see really this thing growing, like college students, even high school, you know, they're just posting things about their friends, right? Like I
Right.
went to the mall and I wore this dress from Forever 21 or Free People, and they posted already. And
Right.
people come, oh, I like your dress, you know, where's
Right.
that from?
Right.
And now,
They can
I
get
mean,
paid to do it.
They can get paid to, and can they customize it? Let's say you were saying that they have to, like Nike runs this campaign and, you know, they have to post like what Nike wants them to post, but
Sometimes.
can they
and-
customize
Yeah,
it?
of course. Of
Okay.
course. So
Okay.
what happens is there's a brand requirements, and then all that stuff is put into a smart contract. So
So that's where the blockchain comes in.
Right. So
Okay.
then with the workflow solution, then what will happen is after they've swiped on it, then money goes into escrow,
Okay.
right? And then once it's posted, we have oracles that verifies the post.
Oh, interesting.
And then once it's verified, the money is released from the escrow or the smart contract.
And it
then-
goes into their Buttrfly account?
Yeah,
That
into
they
their
can then
wallet.
transfer into, you know, their bank account?
Yeah. Yes, they're receiving fiat money.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because I don't think people are ready to receive. you
This
know-
demographic?
Yeah, well,
Young,
just
or-
yeah. In the system, it's like this.
Yeah.
A brand's not going to deal with price variance coins.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do?
Right, right.
If they put $100,000 in it, better be 100,000. If it
Right.
goes to 80,000, they're going
Right.
to lose their brain. If it goes to
Yeah.
120,000, they're going to lose their brain. They don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So when we're doing the medium of exchange, we're going to be using some type of tethered token that
Okay.
will make sure that whatever's being received is
Stable?
stable. Yeah. And so then when they receive it, what we have is you can change it to fiat. If you want to get bucks, which is the Buttrfly coins, you can purchase some bucks.
Uh-huh.
And that gives you discounts into our system.
Oh.
Or you can put it on a Buttrfly credit card. So we have a Buttrfly debit card, I should say. So that way they
Okay.
can easily just spend the money. And that's one of the
Okay.
problems in the crypto
Yeah.
market is that how do you spend that money?
Exactly.
Right. So we have that as a solution. And then what will happen is it just becomes a cycle. So, okay, like you gave an example of this girl that's, you said Free People? Was it
Yeah,
dress,
wearing a
right?
Free People dress.
Cool. So then your credit card or your debit card can give you rewards for Free People. So
Oh.
not only it's like Free People is paying you to post something, but then they're giving you options of
Incentive
spending
to
the
buy
money back.
more
Yeah, so
stuff
it's
of
a
theirs
loop.
and post it and
Yeah,
it's
so
sort
it
of
becomes a
sim-
closed loop. Yeah, so you can get
Oh.
different rewards at different
Retailers.
Yeah.
And I imagine we were talking about micro, you know, medium, and a high influencer. Does the payments change? So Nike runs a campaign. Someone micro influencer might see $10.
Mhm.
You know, someone with more followers might see the same campaign but a higher payment amount.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So it's all depends on their followers.
okay.
their
So it's not
engagement.
just on the absolute number of followers.
No,
also-
it's
okay.
engagement, it's the followers. So what we'll do is we're able to understand which influencers that you should be working with. So we're talking about Free People, right? So we can go in there, study Free People's follower stack, and then say, hey, do you know that all of your followers have these same likes? Maybe they all like Stranger Things, they all like Bathing Ape, and they all like
Oh.
Cardi B, and they all like Lil Zane. And then what'll happen is we'll get these temple influencers that have followers that like those same things. So we know how to approach their demographic and their
I see.
customer in a unique way. So really we're doing two things. One is we're revolutionizing the influencer marketing space by
Yeah.
creating this simple solution to this workflow that's like very laborious.
Yeah.
And then
definitely.
secondly, we're actually using data, and we have crazy data scientists that are being
I
able to
imagine.
understand all this data, and then using ML2 to be able to recommend how a campaign should be structured for a brand to achieve the goals that they want.
What is it? You said using ML.
ML, machine learning.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've got a great team that's doing all that. We've got guys from MIT, Intel, blockchain guys. We've got like the tech team is really intense.
How did you all meet each other? How did you all collaborate? How did you-
Serendipity. No,
I bet it is.
Well, there's a lot of that, and it's just when you're working towards something, and I'm really good at connecting people. Like that's what I do. So
Yeah,
when
I
we're
can
working
tell.
towards something, they just start coming out of the woodworks. And so one of the founders, his name is Jim Sellers, and he's actually the CEO of the company, and he built a company called Tagger Media, which is an influencer network that's not on the blockchain. And so he was the founder, the architect, the CEO of that. And when he heard what we were doing at Buttrfly, he knew it was the future. And so he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna find my replacement at Tagger, and I'm gonna come and work for you guys. And so he hired somebody that came from Apple to take over Tagger Media. And Tagger Media is a badass company. They service Gary Vaynerchuk, Hearst
Oh, okay.
Media, Ketchum PR, like all those organizations use Tagger Media's software for their influencer marketing campaigns.
Wow.
And so what he's understood is he's like, this is our last mile. This is what we need to do to solve the problem in the market. And if we can solve this problem, then we're going to be able to revolutionize the influencer marketing industry.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is amazing. So tell me a little bit how you got involved in tech, because I know a little bit your background was more music oriented, producing, writing.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about the transition?
Yeah, sure.
And where you came from?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Pasadena, Altadena. I grew up
Born and raised.
Born and raised. I grew up making music. My best friend is a guy named John B, who's a singer. So we used to like bang on pots and pans, and then and make music. And
I'm sure your mom liked that.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, by the time we were 15 years old, we had full blown studios.
Wow.
And so then
15.
I know we were making records, and then by the time that he graduated, he was a year older than me. He was already signed to Sony through Babyface, and so I spent years songwriting, producing, doing music. I've written on albums that have sold over 2 million copies, and been featured on albums alongside people like Tupac and Babyface.
Wow.
And people like that.
You've lived a life.
That was a lot of fun. And then I just wanted to learn something new. So I was like, let me adapt and change. And what I did is I've kind of put up music for a while, and then I moved to Silicon Valley. So I was like, if I want to learn how to build tech, I should go to the Synapse. And so I moved into Palo Alto, right off of University Avenue, where it all started, and just built a company, built a social data company.
Wow.
So I've always kind of been in the social data space, and then...
which makes sense, because I feel like you were, you probably yourself saw it from firsthand.
Yeah, and then, Palo Alto's cool, but not that cool, so I left, because it's not my vibe.
Okay.
And I had to go back to Hollywood and go back to West LA. California, West Coast.
Okay. So how did Buttrfly?
It's just natural progression.
Okay.
It's just what I do is I keep building things. I keep trying. So whether it's creating a song, or creating a company, or seeing your idea come to fruition. So it's for me, it's just creation. And so once you learn how to create freely, then you can just keep creating things. And I've learned to let go of things. I've learned not to be attached. I'm not attached. Letting go of music was super hard, but that was the lesson to don't hold on to things and just see what happens.
Sometimes time is up, and you have to.
Yeah. Or you have to come back to it. Stop pushing. If you're pushing so hard and it's not working, maybe you need to reevaluate. You know? And then you let go, and then you see other things start happening. Yeah. So it's just, for me, it's just about creation and building.
Creation and building. That's 2 words I think that a lot of people can travel with.
Yep.
So what other companies are working basically in the space, in the social influencer space, blockchain related?
Well, in the blockchain space, there's a handful of them.
Okay.
I look at it in 2 ways. There's all the ones that are not blockchain related, and they're just not our competitors because they're more like a CRM.
Okay.
And then there's a few in the blockchain space. What I'm seeing is they're either built on Ethereum, which is going to pose a problem because of their only being.
What is yours built on?
We're going to build on EOS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did a lot of interviews with the EOS block producers.
Yeah, those are great guys, right?
Yep.
So EOS is the best. I just think it's the best blockchain out there right now for what we're doing. So these other ones are built on Ethereum. Well, you're not going to be able to scale, unless Ethereum is able to change that. Then you also have they're in Japan, or they're in Russia, or they're in other countries, which is also difficult because where are all the brands and where are all the influencers? They're in the United States, and specifically they're in Hollywood. A lot of them,
Right in your backyard.
Right. And then, like I have like one of my good friends is a guy named Scott Lips who runs Lips Agency. It's an influencer agency. So I have these people.
An agency.
Yeah. So they come onto our rails because
So
we
these
help
influencers now, have complete agencies that support them. Like this is something they could have been in college, just post a lot of stuff, and now they made a whole business model out of just being popular.
Well, it's not easy. It's creating content. It's creating content
It's
that's
hard,
engaging.
and they have to constantly.
Yeah.
Be
So
doing
and
it.
they deserve to keep winning on that.
But I just think about it like 20 years ago, to be able to do something like that, you had to beg for a company to hire you, and now you buy all your equipment, you have your ideas, one-man show.
create, build and create.
Build and create. I
Yeah.
mean, it's amazing how, sort of what times we're in.
Yep.
And then, once they've built a following on their own, an agency can pick them up and they can build and scale themselves.
Yep.
But they can start
Yep.
on their own.
Yep.
Yep.
Another
That's amazing.
big difference between us and some of the other companies is that we have a freemium model. So if you want to use our Rails,
Mm-hmm.
you can just use our Rails, and we don't take a commission. So a lot of these.
What do you mean by use your Rails?
Meaning that if you wanted to come in, you have a spend, you have influencers, and you want to use our technology to help do the transaction and the contracting, go ahead.
Oh, I see.
We're
Like
not-
an agency wants to
Yeah.
do the. Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
you just enable that smart contract, like for rights.
Yep.
kind of
So
for
if an
rights.
agency
Okay.
has an agreement with their influencers and they get 10%, we'll take 10%. We're not taking any of it. Just use our systems. Now, if you want to use our data and you want us to help you understand how to make a campaign better, well, then we.
Can you sell
Yeah.
an aggregate?
Yeah. Well, we do a
Uh-huh.
cost per engagement model.
Okay.
So we'll
Can
get a
you-
higher engagement at a lower cost, so everybody's winning. That's
Okay.
really what's happening. And then all the money that they're usually spending on human resources, they don't have to spend because they don't have to hire 40 people to sit in a building to reach out to all these influencers
Yeah.
to make a campaign go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's targeting influencers. You talked a lot about influencers specifically, that market, but can you see it
The
expanding?
history of influence
Or you
is
tell me.
long. It goes way back
Yeah.
to like the Queen's stamp. I'm serious. Like
Tell me
that.
about it.
No, I mean that's like that. When you had that stamp of approval, it was from somebody that's of influence, and they're actually giving you their approval. So then other people see that, and that influences habits.
Is that how did the word influencer even come about?
I don't know how the word influencer came about, but yeah, and it was like I have a whole presentation on this. It's called Influence in the Blockchain, and it gives a history of influencers, and it gives a history of the blockchain and how they're coming together to
Yeah.
solve this problem, and then what the future looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be at Coin Agenda doing a keynote speak on
Okay.
that, in Malta in
Okay.
a few days.
And
Probably
traveling to Malta.
it'll probably be done before you air this.
Okay. All right. God, that's amazing. So where do you see the future going? I mean, right now you're developing this app, and you're obviously helping match influencers to brands. You're helping with the data science. You're helping create new campaigns. But 3 to 5 years, where do you see this market going?
I think it's just going to keep going towards personalized, marketing campaigns. So what's happening is people are more likely to buy products when somebody recommends it to them.
Right.
So we're not like bound to the ways of traditional, I would say traditional now, but marketing.
Like pop-up
Ads, all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. It's going to go away because you're getting recommendations from your friends or recommendations from
Well, you see
somebody
them.
you follow or somebody
Because
that
you see them as a friend.
Yeah.
That they dress similar to you. They have
Yep.
similar styles, similar interests, similar background.
Yep.
And
Yep.
if they recommend a brand,
Yep.
it's relatable to you.
Yeah, and so what's happening is there was $2 billion spent in influencer marketing in 2017.
$2 billion?
Yeah, and by 2020, it's going to increase by 5 times, so it's going to be $10 billion.
This is an industry that just existed
Right,
now.
right. It's huge.
And now it's $10
It's
billion.
huge, and it's growing. And so what happens
So all
when
this money, it's coming away from,
Traditional.
ads.
Yeah.
Ads.
Yep.
Less Facebook ads, less Google ads.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And then what starts happening is when you have that amount of increase in spend in the industries change.
Yeah.
And industries, and that's what we're right there at the changing point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really,
You're helping it change.
Helping it change, and it's really the blockchain. So the blockchain is allowing that to occur,
Okay.
right? So I think, whoever created blockchain, no, just really like the people that have been behind the industry, that have been
Yeah.
like the forefathers, people had to fight to make this
Yeah.
industry
Oh, I've seen
work.
it firsthand, yeah.
Like I was just sitting with dinner with Nick Spanos, and
Uh-huh.
it's like what he had to do and go through to, make Bitcoin accessible and also popular and also what it is today, and it's like the people that are there, you got to pay respect to them. It's like any other industry.
The OGs, yeah.
Yeah, and be appreciative because what they've allowed to occur and what's going to occur because of all their hard work is going to be amazing, and everything's going to change. So
Nathan, music, songwriter, played pots and pans at one point.
I also have a podcast.
Podcast transition to tech. Now, focuses on Buttrfly Is there anything else you want to add in terms of, what are, people are watching, they're learning about new companies. Is there anything, any advice you want to give, anything else you want to add?
I think really it's about stay true to your heart.
Okay.
That's most important. Stay true to yourself. Don't get caught up in the hype. Like, learn. You know what I mean? Like, take time to understand things. Don't ride waves. Just stay true to yourself. Stay true to your heart. Stay in your lane. Like, and keep creating, keep building, and keep trying, and just keep going for what's inside your soul, and everything works out.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't know what's inside your soul, then discover it.
Discover it.
Figure it out. Take some time to really understand yourself.
All right. That's very beautiful thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you everyone for watching. Have a good one.